Verify compliance with open meetings law, notification and adoption of agenda. Comments from the audience regarding these agenda items. Would anyone like to address the board on these agenda items? We ask that this is our business meeting, so it's not as discussive back and forth. This is your chance to come and talk to us about the items on this agenda as well. Would anyone like to address the board? Seeing none, then we'll move to number 3, consent agenda, which is approval of November 23rd, 2015 school board meeting minutes and approval of December vouchers and vouchers payable. Would anyone care to pull out one of their consent agenda items tonight? Seeing none, then I would ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
It's been moved.
Second.
And seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Gotcha, John. Seeing none, motion carries. Next, old business, we are going to discuss and take possible action on 2015-16 early retirement incentive. Who's going to talk about that? Dr. Holtz, did you want to, or
Sure.
Doug?
We had and then Doug, you can jump on in. Good meeting at the Finance and the Joint Committee meeting. I was focused basically on that. I had some feedback about the kind of forms they wanted, so we worked, and mostly Doug worked on getting those forms pulled together and sent them out for some review, and I think we're all set and ready to go unless you have objections. Any specific questions on the forms? Doug would be the guy to jump in.
John.
I did a lot of talking during the meeting, so Doug, thank you for spending the time putting this together. I really appreciate it. Everything looks great. The only suggestions I would have would be on the retirement letter of intent. We talked about putting a space for the WRS values and labeling that accordingly, just so that you have a consistent means for them to submit that information to you. If you can add that. And then I see on page 4, you included the Mid-America contact information. My only thought would be to add that on page 6, the actual letter, the confirmation letter we're sending. You reference Mid-America and the retirement solutions. I would just recommend adding it on to that. And then the verbiage in that second paragraph, on or about August 21st, I think it should be on or before. However you want to word it, I would have it so that the August 21st is the deadline. It'll be there by that date.
Oh, good catch.
Outside of that, I mean, like I said, I think you did a great job with everything. It's really self-explanatory, and it'll hopefully make things easier going forward.
Any other questions?
Well, I just want to make sure that everybody's comfortable with A, B, and C in the incentive
Yeah.
plan, page 3.
Didn't you say we'd have to do a motion to revise the?
See?
Yeah.
We would
Revise
have
the
to
whole
we would
retirement.
want to bring back the handbook, though, and align it, that's all. If we change this, we just have to change the handbook.
We'd have to. No, wouldn't we have to change the policy first, and then the handbook would mirror the policy?
I'm not sure this is in a board policy.
It's not in the policy.
So just strictly be the
Right,
handbook.
just a handbook. So we could make a motion tonight and change it if you wanted to. Well, if there's no motion,
I mean, provided those changes that I mentioned, I mean, I think that the timeline that they put together and the forms they put together are great. Aside from the questions about option C, I think the timeline they have together and the documents they put together are perfect.
right, any other comments or questions? John?
Yeah, what are Jonathan's thoughts or Quinn's thoughts on option C, on item C?
Well, this is my dilemma, that if an employee or an employee is not taking our insurance and is saving us money, they are not going to get C. They have to jump onto the coverage for a year or two, and and then they would get 35,000. I like it the way it is in the handbook, where it's, you get the 35,000 to use as you want.
So either way, whether they're taking it now, whether they're on our insurance or not?
Yep.
Right.
Because they're saving us money not being on insurance, going into the early retirement.
Wait, hold on. So in the handbook right now, because when we brought it up in the meeting, we were told that what's listed here is what's in the handbook right
Correct.
now.
That's exactly what's in the handbook.
Yep.
This is what's in the handbook. So then, we just did, so, 15, 16 was just, was that way? Was the way that I just spoke, that it didn't have this, you had to be on
Right.
insurance?
Right.
15,
Are we
16.
sure?
Last year, the prior
Or
year.
did we just,
14, 14,
14, 15?
Are we sure? I don't.
Yeah, we are.
We've had this discussion before, and
I
we
have copies
decided
if you
what's
wanna
on
see it.
here is what we were going with, because the whole idea of offering it to begin with was you're no longer having this health insurance that we provided with you. This is to alleviate the costs of what you would have otherwise had, and that's the
You're-
whole point of it.
you're
And I
right.
understand the loophole, or not the loophole, but what you're saying in that, but going back to the original discussion, what we discussed in the previous ones, how it is on here is how we decided it should be.
You're right, but what he's asking is, we had before you came on, when we finalized for 14, 15, we thought that it was changed so everyone would get it.
It was.
And so whether or not this was the last and final one, that happened for 2014, 15 retirees. And we don't think this was. So that's whether or not it happens, but we just want to make sure that what we're saying, that this is what we use for 14, 15 is actually correct. Because I don't think it was.
What we
So
used
whether or
for
not we
14,
proceed with
15 is-
changing, I'm
What
sorry?
we used for 14, 15 is different than what we approved for
For the
15,
handback,
16.
right?
And we haven't got pushback, so, I mean, we did the first year.
That's fine.
And, so I'm fine with this, I just, yeah.
Leaving it as is? John, did you get your question answered? They said they're comfortable leaving it as is. Everyone's comfortable leaving it as is?
Yes, I got the answer, thanks.
So then I'll set a motion to approve.
Okay. There's a motion to approve the early retirement incentive plan. Do we hear a second? Second. Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Comments from the school board regarding agenda items for future consideration?
I have two.
No.
No?
Oh, okay. It's late. Hurry.
Okay. Dr. Holtz, could we get a report on the Magna Publications Technology Conference and how this is going to fit into our 12K curriculum?
Okay. And what else?
And I don't know if this, with the incident that we had at the high school with Marta, is that what we say? MRSA? It was brought to my attention at the Edgerton PTO on Thursday that parents feel that something like this should be, all parents should be informed of it, because we have kids coming from the high school, going to the middle school for teaching. We may even have some going to the elementary, and they don't know.
And at the
So-
same time, kids.
Going
Practice.
going the other way, and commingling along the way. So, how do we inform everybody?
Could we get a written report on that at first? Maybe you could give us an update on what happened and then take your suggestions
Or
in the
what
future.
the procedure is now?
Start with a, right, let's give us a memo.
Could be a
And then
memo.
if we need to get it on the agenda, we will, but otherwise, maybe just an update, that's, okay. Anyone else? Seeing none, then, board member announcements. I want to announce that we will not have a meeting next week, no? Okay, anyone else?
What did you say, we are or we aren't?
We are not. We are not meeting it next week, okay?
I had a few
So Merry
things.
Christmas to everyone.
I had a few things. Swimming had a couple events
Oh,
this
yeah.
past week. Wednesday they had the conference relays. They did as we expect, since we're one of the few schools that isn't combined and such. We did pretty well. We had some medals.
This is boys.
Boys swimming. This past Saturday they had an an invite at Brown Deer. We had a lot of medals that people won. I know a few of them had 4 first-place medals for all events they were in. Did a really great job there. And then also the winter band concert was really nice. I kind of felt a little robbed though, because a couple of the bands only got 2 songs.
Aw,
I mean, it was still a lot of music, but it was really nice as well.
all right, thank you. Quinn?
Go ahead, Nancy.
Oh, Quinn and I were fortunate to be judges at the 7th grade forensics presentation. And so this is where the 7th grade students in this class present a memorized monologue. And the kids did great. We had a 3rd place winner and a tie for 1st place. So the kids did an awesome job.
Anything else? My announcement would be, I just want to wish everyone happy holidays and see you all next year. All right. Motion to convene in closed session under Wisconsin statutes 19.851C and F and 118.125 to discuss and consider student disciplinary matter A and B superintendent contract.
Motion.
Moved. Second. And seconded. We'll do a roll call vote. Quinn?
Yes.
Jonathan?
Yes.
John?
Yes?
Me, yes. Nancy?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Okay, motion approved. We will now adjourn into closed session.